Hi there, and welcome to the Paula Fiscal Show. We have a very special guest today by the name of Cecilia Lara, who is here with Francisco Herrera. Of course, you know he's a regular on my show. And Francisco recently had a big event, a dinner, and an award ceremony that he does once a year. And this year, Cecilia Lara happened to be one of the honorees. So I want to welcome both of you here. And we want to hear all about the award, Cecilia. And was your family there? Were you surprised you got the award?
Oh, thank you very much. Esto es muy emocionante.
I'm very emotional right now. This is very emotional.
Estar ahí con mucha gente. Y bueno, fue muy excited, como se dice.
And I was very, very excited to be surrounded by so many people at the event.
Primeramente, doy gracias a Dios, doy gracias a la organización de María Cristina, Francisco Herrera, Trabajo Cultural Caminante, que hacen una labor fantástica ayudando a gente pobre.
I want to thank God. I want to thank Cristina and Francisco, who do a job with the community, a great job with the community.
That's wonderful. It's good to hear. Now, I want to hear about how you got to the United States.
¿Cómo llegaste acá a Estados Unidos?
Ok, bueno, pues llegué con una ilusión grandísima, primeramente.
I came with
Big
a great
dreams.
dream.
That's right.
Grandes sueños, sí. Y bueno, llegué aquí indocumentada.
I came here with no documents.
Y bueno, pues he seguido un proceso que aún la emoción no se me quita, las ilusiones no se me quitan. Yo sigo adelante, sigo con mis ideas.
I have followed a bunch of dreams and ideas, and they have not vanished from me. I continue following those dreams.
Can you tell us a little bit about your family? How many of you were there? Platícame un poquito de la familia.
Sí, bueno, puedo decir que tengo a mi esposo, nos casamos en México, tuve una bebé que en este caso decimos que fue la sacrificada porque tuve que dejarla 2 años.
I have my husband. We got married in Mexico. We had a baby. In this case, she was the sacrificed one because I ended up having to leave her when I came for 2 years.
Y que regrese por ella porque yo no podía vivir sin mi hija.
I came back for her because I could not live without her.
So it's important for those of you watching right now that you understand that this is one of the immigration issues that takes place. We experience leaving our home. We come to the United States. We have big dreams. And in Cecilia's case, she not only got here, but she also does a lot of volunteer work. Let's hear a little bit about that.
¿Cuál es tu trabajo como voluntaria aparte de tu familia?
Sí, aparte de que me dediqué a trabajar duro.
So apart from working very, very hard,
me dediqué a prepararme.
I continued preparing myself professionally.
Conocer lo que yo podía hacer en este país.
So I could learn what could I do also in this country.
Sí, yo comencé sacando licencias para cuidado de niños, para preparar taxes.
So I got a license to take care of children. I got a license to prepare taxes, to help people to do that.
Tuve la oportunidad de conocer algo de real estate, donde también estuve involucrada en ayudando gente, preparando gente.
I learned a little bit about real estate, and I started helping people to be able to educate them on how do you buy, how do you rent, how do you take care of having a house.
And so in this way, she also has had experience in the housing industry, which here in San Francisco is as Senor Herrera here, who's, by the way, running for supervisor in District 11. And so it's important to hear some of your experiences that you have had here in the city with the housing.
¿Qué experiencia has tenido aquí en la ciudad con las familias que están queriendo tener un hogar?
He tenido unas experiencias muy, muy lindas de que mucha gente tiene esa ilusión de tener su casa y que lo han podido hacer. Muchas personas lo han podido hacer.
I'm so happy to have had some very, very good experiences with people who have wanted to buy their house. I've been able to help them, and I'm happy to say that I've been able to help a lot of people who have been able to buy their own homes. Y las experiencias que has visto en la ciudad, la accesibilidad con la gente, las familias.
Hay programas muy, muy buenas que han ayudado a gente. Yo estoy
There's
contenta.
lots of programs here in the
Sí,
city
yo
that,
estoy contenta
that
por
assist with
eso, que
housing.
gente la han podido calificar.
And you help them qualify for the housing.
Así es. Entonces, me da gusto por esas personas que de igual manera le han puesto muchas ganas a lo que ellos quieren y lo han conseguido.
That's great. So, Francisco, you also said that, Cecilia, you did some work with tax returns.
Bueno, sí, estuve también involucrada en eso, educando a las personas, recomendando de la mejor manera que pueden hacer sus taxes y construir un crédito para lo mismo, ¿no? Para obtener sus propósitos, como por ejemplo tener su casa.
So, I've had the chance to be able to help a lot of folks be able to put their tax in order to do those things that you need to do with a good credit, having your house, that kind of thing. And it's been a joy to be able to do that.
Así es.
And so, Francisco, do you want to give us a little recap on the reasoning that you guys all used for the selection of the Premio Mujer programming?
Sure. It's really been a joy, and I first of all have to give all props to my wife, Cristina Herrera, who was the creator of the event 11 years ago at this point. The idea is that so many woman is the pillar of society. For us, that's the bottom line, is that really women are in Spanish, la cuna de la civilización, the cradle of civilization is woman, even though they talk about Mesopotamia. But, and so the idea is that many times, precisely as we were talking before the show, the mother, the aunt, the grandmother, the woman many times is caring for the children, the grandchildren, the husband, the grandfather, the father, and many times is invisible. And we see this not just at the level of folks who might have papers or might not have gone to school, but we see it at all the levels of the society. So the idea was to create precisely this dinner gathering moment with music, concert, good food, to say this: we recognize you because you are a complete woman. And when we identify these women, we always communicate with different folks in the community. We've been doing it 10 years, so many times we also get suggestions from some of the other women who have been involved, who have been recognized. And it's a wonderful combination across the ethnic groups. It's been mostly Latinas because we started in that community, but it's gone across ethnic groups. It's gone across professional experiences. I remember one time we were so moved by this one lady, wonderful lady, who Mrs. Carrasco, who herself raised 11 children. And they all went through the university. And had she gotten great titles? No. Had she been world famous or even community famous? No. They knew her in the neighborhood, right? But she raised 11 children. Very much the story of womanhood, no, pillar of society.
And Cecilia, ¿Hay una persona que quieres dar crédito por todo trabajo que has hecho aquí en los Estados Unidos? Is there a person you'd like to give credit to in particular that you want to talk about, mention?
Uy, hay tantas personas que quisiera mencionar, porque todas han sido maravillosas, sobre todo en la organización María Cristina, que han venido manejando esto.
There's so many people I want to mention because I've gotten so much help in the process, so much support. Maria Cristina has been great in the organization.
Y bueno, sobre todo mis hijas, que las adoro.
My daughters, who I adore.
Son como mi motor a seguir.
They're my engine.
¿Y cómo se llama?
Sí, mi hija mayor se llama Gabriela. La segunda que me mencionaba que está en el militar, ella se llama Johanna. Y mi tercera, que es mi baby, se llama Paola.
Paula.
Sí.
Sounds familiar.
Yes.
Paula.
That's a very good name, I must say. I like that name in particular. So we want to also mention that you have a great deal of friends and family here, but you're also somewhat politically involved if you're working with Francisco, aren't you?
Tienes amistades y familia, pero si estás trabajando con Francisco, quiere decir que estás involucrada políticamente también, ¿verdad?
Sí, bueno, me gusta más que todo, no es que sea política, pero me gusta involucrarme, me gusta, como dicen, aportar mi granito de arena.
Well, I like to share my grain of salt, my grain of sand.
Y cooperar, estar ahí, pues en lo que yo pueda ayudar siempre. Yo creo que toda la gente por eso me conoce cuando hablan de Cecilia y cuando...
I think that I like to help in whatever way I can, and when they talk about Cecilia, well, I think that's because they see as someone who's just basically helping other folks.
Sí,
Well, I do have a little anecdote though, but I
let's
thought
use an
was so
anecdote.
interesting. That I thought was so interesting. I was when we were campaigning for the mayor, for the mayor's race. I was at the Safeway, and I'm handing my little cards, and out of the blue, this person comes up. Oh yeah, you're Francisco Herrera, right? Yeah, we already talked with Cecilia Lara about you. I went, what? It's
They
like,
had already heard. The word was out.
The word was
Yeah.
out. And I think that's because when obviously Cecilia is very modest and is being, modest about it. But the thing is that people like Cecilia, I know you've talked also with Harriet Bagwell, you'll be
Yes.
speaking with some of the other honorees, is that these are people like Cecilia who are so in the community that their moral authority is just leadership, no? And so they're able to talk across the spectrum with Anglo or Latino or Asian, African American, because they have that human side to be able to speak with people and just to be there in service of, no? There's not a tally like, I've helped this many people do this, and I've helped. But like when you're doing in foundations, right, or in group,
Right,
in
that's
organizations, yeah. Well, here's my count of how many people I talk with today, and which is great and very
Well,
important.
that's called voter registration,
Right,
isn't it?
right, exactly.
Okay, so earlier you were mentioning also that your daughter Joanna had joined the military, and so how long has she been in the service?
Hasta ahora tiene 4 años.
So far, it's been 4 years.
And she's a fighter pilot?
Es piloto.
No, ella está como contadora, como, ¿cómo se dice? Más que todo eso fue como organización sobre...
She does accounting, she does administrative.
Oh, she works in the
Navy.
in the Navy.
Como,
Okay.
sí, como administradora, contadora y o sea, tiene muchas fases ahí que tiene que desenvolver, entonces...
And another-
Is that an
Another.
adjutant?
¿Perdón?
What's the term? what she's called?
¿Cómo le llaman a su trabajo? que hace?
Private, sergeant, captain, adjutant.
I
know she's a general. Okay.
Ya.
General.
Hasta ahora no sé, nunca he preguntado, ¿ok?
Hablaste en la celebración, hablaste muy bonito de tu mamá y tus hermanos. Si quieres dedicarles alguna palabra.
Seguro que sí.
Claro que sí. Bueno, pues yo ahí en el evento, ¿verdad? Yo les otorgué mi premio porque yo creo que todas las mujeres nos lo merecemos.
So in the dinner, I really gave my the award. I gave it to all the women. I think all of the women deserve this award.
Y más a las mujeres que son guerreras, que les gusta luchar por la vida.
And especially warrior women who really struggle for life.
Que se preocupan tanto como por sus hijos y por los demás también.
Who worry, of course, about their kids, but also for others, worry for others.
Sí, yo nombré a diferentes mujeres como las guerreras que van y gritan a la calle por los derechos de los humanos.
The women who are fighting for human rights out in the streets.
Sí, y también por las mujeres que han venido trabajando solas, que son madres solteras.
The single moms who work alone
y que salen adelante con sus hijos.
Continue flourishing with their kids.
Sí, les dan una carrera. Yo a esas mujeres las admiro.
They guarantee that their kids will have a profession. I admire those women so much.
Sí, y bueno, más que todo, pues a mi madre, ¿no? Porque fue la que me dio digamos, vengo de una cultura humilde, de una cultura que lo hace con muchas ganas, con mucho amor para sus hijos.
But specifically my mom, because I come from her, she gave me life. She done so much work for us, for her children.
Y que siempre estaba ahí con los consejos diciendo, hija, tú vas a triunfar si tú lo quieres hacer.
She was always there with their advice, with their encouragement, saying you're going to succeed.
Pero recuerda que siempre la humildad es la que te va a llevar hacia adelante.
But remember, humility is what's going to take you forward.
Okay. Then when I asked you if you wanted to mention anyone in particular, you mentioned quite a few people. It's what we call doing a shout out to thank people that have helped you get to where you are today. And for many of us, we've had many years and years and years of people that we run into, that work with us, that encourage us, that support us. But you have to name just one. Is there just one person you'd like to talk about?
Que quieres dar gracias, reconoces, pero hay una persona que quieres nombrar. Pues, tu mamá, yo creo que.
Unless it's Mother Teresa.
Bueno, pues ante todo, pues a mi madre.
A su madre. Okay.
A mi madre, sí, que se
then
merece todo.
Then the mother gets the prize.
The mom gets the prize.
All right,
Que
there you
madre,
are.
Que está en el cielo.
Yes,
que,
most of our mothers are.
Sí, y que, bueno, más que todo, siempre me pongo un poco sentimental porque
Makes
ella
me very
fue
emotional.
Todo para mí.
Because she really was everything for me, my mom.
Así es.
Well, that's wonderful news and good to hear. And Francisco, I'm going to give you a few minutes to talk about your organization, maybe a phone number in case somebody wants to volunteer or sponsor or endorse.
Sure. Our organization is really a volunteer group. It's called Fundación Caminante, which means wander or walking. And our phone number is 415-928-9334. And we combine what is culture, the arts, and community service and political action as well. We work with many 501c3s. We're ourselves not a 501c3 because we work so much groups. We do so much work with many groups, and we're focused on the work of serving through the arts and through culture. We really believe that's an important complement to social change and to society, and it's very much a project where we involve community to deal with social issues, with cultural issues, and culture and issues of the community.
Well, are there any particular issues right now that you're currently working on that you might want to share with the audience?
You know, my wife Cristina, who at one point will come and speak with you, has developed a wonderful workshop that's called Woman Ally of God and of the Earth, where it really is engaging on the power that women bring to society. We also have a training that we do called Strength from the Roots. It's also a workshop based on song and story, and working with people to tell our own stories, our own migration stories, whether you were born in the U.S. or not. And this is a wonderful training that we've done across the state, across the United States, and in parts of Latin America as well. And it really engages people. It's kind of a diversity training of sorts.
And this city could use a little bit of that.
That's right.
We need a bit of diversity training for all of our elected officials, although some are better than others.
Mm-hmm.
We do have a new police chief, I should go ahead and mention.
Yes, that's right.
And I understand that you did some work when you ran for mayor. You did the 1, 2, 3. And now that you're running for supervisor in District 11, will you be using the same strategic tactics?
There is some of that we'll be using because we have, like with Kimberly, we have Alvarenga, we have very similar platforms also with Berta Hernandez. I think that for all the candidates, I think Asha Safai as well, we all are very concerned about the housing issue, affordability for folks. I know I'm very concerned about the neighborhoods. District 11 people in District 11 feel very ignored. And so this is a very important issue. And so for us, the platform is of utmost importance that we really focus on those issues: health, education, housing, safety, the arts and culture. And so that's and I think with Kimberly, I think with Berta, we have a very close allies on vision.
Well, I heard that the biggest topic was the BART.
Well, BART's an important issue, but I think
transportation.
Yeah. Well,
is that just a media focus?
You know, it's interesting. No, there are real issues of safety related to transportation and transit, particularly when you're looking at the elderly and families, moms with children that have to go to the store. There's some areas there in the Ocean, Merced Heights, Ingleside called the OMI, very tenderly identified as that, where people have a really hard time accessing a grocery store. And so some people have to take 2 buses. Some people just take the M line all the way to the Safeway on Market and Church. So there's real issues of transit that we have to look at as well.
So we'll be looking at some of those issues then with you this season as you're running for office. And Cecilia, just what do you have envisioned? What do you have in your dreams that you'd like to have for your next volunteer project?
¿Qué es tu plan en tu próximo proyecto de voluntariado en la comunidad?
Bueno, pues ahorita estamos en el apoyando a Francisco Herrera como supervisor de distrito. Estamos ahorita planeando eso, ¿no?
Okay, so one of the goals is to continue to be a volunteer in your supervisorial campaign, okay? Anything else?
Sí, ahorita estamos en eso, ese es nuestro propósito.
No, that's the project, that's the focus.
De que lo vamos a lograr. Por el momento, pues creo que ese es el proyecto.
Well,
sí.
I know this programs will be running in many different times and many different moments. Mm-hmm. And in this case, just for all fairness, I think, with Cecilia, we've been very close allies, and we've been working in many communities, St. Peter's in the Mission, and at on Bush Street over at St. Dominic's, where she's been so active in the Cruzada Guadalupana, the pilgrimage that Catholics do from
Right,
Daly
right,
City, from South City all the way, just in terms of spirituality and practice. But in this case, it happens that Cecilia has been helping us a lot, tremendously in the campaign, but all the other women were not part of that. So
No, I see.
just to say,
Okay, well,
she's not here because she was a volunteer,
Right.
although she was an exemplary volunteer, wonderful volunteer.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on the show. And Francisco, you're one of our regulars, so we'll see you again. Although next time around, you're giving up some of your time to have one of the other women that are going to also be on the show.
Yes.
And so we'll hear from them in a couple more weeks. So we want to thank you for joining the Paula Fiscal Show. Remember, we are on YouTube, and there is also a Twitter handle, Paula Fiscal TV, and I also have a Gmail, paulafiscalshow@gmail.com, and my slogan is stay informed and keep informed, particularly during this election season. I know it's still early, but when you see this program, it might be 2017 because these shows are run on also Channel 29 and 76 along with YouTube. So once again, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks again, Francisco and Cecilia.
Thank you very much for your invitation.
You're welcome.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you so much for joining us.